wellness teas, tradition, science, and a new approach to quality. You know that tea is the most widely consumed drink on Earth with one exception, and that exception is water. So people really love their tea. The tea plant has been around for a long time. It was first discovered nearly 4,000 years ago in the highland rainforests of what is now called Yunnan province in southwestern China. And this is an area of China that you've never seen anything like it. You know, sometimes we hear about China and pollution and, you know, all kinds of stuff, but this, in the rainforests, this is what it looks like. These are terraced tea, they call them either tea estates, tea gardens, tea plantations, but this is some of the most beautiful terrain on the face of the planet, and it's absolutely ideal for tea. This is the birthplace of tea. And you know that the Chinese love tea. They even have a saying, rather 3 days without food than a day without tea. That's how much they love tea. Here's the thing you have to know. Before tea found fame around the world as a refreshing beverage, it was first used exclusively for medicinal purposes. And that goes as far back as the Shang Dynasty, which is, you know, started in 1766 BC. So that's a big history of tea being used for medicinal purposes. And the ancient healers used to use either, you know, specific types of tea, or they would use combinations of tea leaves along with synergistic herbs from the Chinese traditional medicine for specific health and wellness concerns. And today we call these wellness teas. They're teas that have a specific wellness benefit to them. Now, if we go back in history, the Chinese first discovered tea, and then the knowledge of tea spread outward from China along something that was called the ancient tea horse road. Now, I know it sounds strange, but I'll explain it. I mean, first of all, if you take a look at this map and you see that everything starts in Yunnan, which is the birthplace of tea, and then you've got roads that are going, you know, into, you know, Sichuan and the rest of China, or out west, you know, into, you know, past Shangri-La and into Tibet, and then to Nepal, and then you had southern routes. And the reason it was called the Tea Horse Road was that the Chinese were trading tea for horses, and they needed the horses to fight warring nomads in the north of China. So 6,000 miles of treacherous terrain, and these tea porters or tea bearers would actually carry anywhere from 130 to 200 pounds, that's 60 to 90 kilos of tea on their back. And you wonder, how the heck could they do that? That's more than they weighed. They had these little frames, and, you know, I mean, that looks like it'd be pretty hard to carry that much tea. And they were doing this as recently, like this picture was from 1908. You know, the Tea Horse Road was in continuous use up until 1960. I mean, that's like 1,000 years that the Tea Horse Road was around. Very, very treacherous. They had to cross over raging rivers, like on these rope bridges. And then to get the horses across, they actually invented the zip line. They had horses that were going across these raging rivers to get from one side to the others along this 6,000-mile treacherous route. Pretty amazing. But that's how much they loved tea. And other cultures along the Tea Horse Road and beyond were incorporating teas into their own healing traditions. Even today, wellness teas are still vital and important. Do you know that 75 to 90% of the rural population in developing nations rely on herbal medicine as the only healthcare that they have? Medicinal herbs are sold alongside fruits and vegetables in village markets, and the practitioners of herbal medicine undergo extensive training to learn about medicinal plants and teas and how to use them. Now, today, finally, in the last 30 years, science has been taking a good hard look at the benefits that have been traditionally observed in medicinal teas and herbs. And there have been more than 35,000 studies investigating the potential health benefits of wellness teas and their ingredients. There are more than 2,000 studies on green tea alone, and many of them are just showing such a wide range of benefits, and not just on green tea. These studies are overwhelmingly showing positive and wide-ranging benefits. these studies aren't just being done anywhere. They're being done at some of the leading research centers in the world, including Harvard, the National Institutes of Health, Columbia University. All around the world, people are studying wellness teas, and they're publishing their research in top-flight scientific and medical journals, such as the Journal of the American Medical Association, the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. The list goes on and on. So what can wellness teas do for you? They can help you to promote healthy weight loss. They support cleansing and detoxification. They support and protect your digestive tract. They help to optimize your immune function that protects your body. They help to balance your emotional health, to promote relaxation and peace of mind, promote beautiful glowing skin. Wellness teas can help to energize your body and mind, and they can do so much, much more than that. But here's a problem. There are troubling trends for tea. Tea is a victim of its own success. The global demand for tea has been increasing at an astonishing rate in the US alone. It's just crazy. I mean, world tea production is increasing as much as it can, 30% in just 5 years. But in the US, consumption is up 500% just in the last 2 decades. And the world's tea producers are just struggling to keep up. And that increase in demand has had an adverse effect on tea quality. Growers are picking their leaves too soon to try to rush them to market, or because they're rushing, they're leaving other ones on the tea plants that are way too late, and so by the time they pick them, they're all stale. They're using artificial ingredients or synthetic flavors to try to liven up the flavor of their dull, poor quality tea, or they're taking shortcuts like using growth hormones, which end up with really weird tea. I mean, just think about how when people use growth hormones to grow those giant pumpkins that are like the size of a truck, well, people are doing that, also with teas. And some factors can also take a heavy toll on tea safety. Some of these factors are environmental pollution, which, teas unfortunately grow in areas of the world where there is environmental pollution without a lot of controls. Soil contamination is a big problem in some parts of the world where tea is grown. Poor farming practices, because they're not using, they're not educated in good, modern, organic farming practices in some places. The use of pesticides or the overuse of insecticides. These are not really good. Toxic heavy metals, not something that you would want anywhere in any of your food or anything that is going to put into your body or on your body. Lack of proper testing can be a problem for teas as well. So can microbial contamination. That means contaminated with mold or with salmonella or E. coli or other things that can really hurt you. Here's the irony. You're taking a tea to help you, but your wellness tea could actually be making you sick. And that's because unlike other foods and dietary supplements, there are no formal standards for the authenticity, purity, potency, and efficacy of wellness teas. Well, that changes now. Because of the absence of formal quality standards for wellness teas, Ladara has developed its own standard of excellence, which we have branded as Certified Wellness Grade, or CWG. CWG was developed in cooperation with certified tea masters. You have to do a lot to be a tea master. The International Tea Masters Association has courses, and it's as difficult as being like an expert sommelier, like a wine expert. You have to know everything that there is to know about tea, and we actually consult with 3 certified tea masters, but also we enlisted the help of experts in dietary supplement formulation, agricultural science, tea production, and food safety, which is very, very important. When you see the CWG logo, this stands for a comprehensive process that monitors, tests, and verifies tea quality from field to cup. It ensures 100% pure, safe, natural, and authentic ingredients that have been grown in the ideal environment, picked at their peak, and that are going to be able to deliver consistently great taste, aroma, and wellness benefits in every cup. That CWG trademark stands for the safest and the most beneficial wellness teas that are available in the world today. Each wellness tea by Ladara goes through an exacting 4-step quality protocol, what we call the CWG quality process. It represents a new standard for wellness teas that has never existed before. Authenticity, that means that we're using the right teas and herbs with their identity verified. Purity, purity means that there are no fillers, there are no hidden ingredients, there is nothing synthetic, there are no impurities. Potency, potency means that everything has been picked, processed, and packed in peak season. And efficacy means you're going to get optimal wellness benefit from a CWG wellness tea. I want to take you through the 4 steps. The first step of the CWG process is the sourcing. We source certified organic ingredients wherever possible. This makes sense, but here's the thing. They're not always possible at the quality that we want, at the potency that we want in organic form. So whenever we can't get an organic ingredient, there we make sure that our ingredients are free of detectable pesticide residues under the standard of the European Food Safety Authority. And you have to understand, the Europeans are so far ahead of North Americans when it comes to setting standards for food safety. I mean, we're catching up in North America, but still, the Europeans have really set the bar. And we make sure that all of our ingredients and teas meet that strictest standard of safety in the world. We also use some natural flavors in our products. And I know that some people, feel that natural flavors, what are they? Is it MSG? And, we say, no, that's certainly not us. I mean, we make sure that our natural flavors are 100% organic compliant. And there's a very strict definition for organic compliant in the Code of Federal Regulations. What organic compliant means are that these are flavors that are allowed to be used in organic products. In our case, they're made only from natural fruit essences with no synthetic ingredients, no synthetic solvents, no synthetic carriers or fillers, no artificial preservatives, only pure fruit essences are ever going to be found in wellness teas by Ladara. We have our expert tea masters. They travel the world and they source only the highest quality teas and botanicals from the greatest growers in the best growing regions all over the world. And they only pick those that are known to have significant health benefits. They understand quality aspects that separate world-class ingredients from just ordinary ones. And those factors can include the elevation, like the altitude that the tea is grown, the climate, the optimal harvest time, even the drying and the curing processes for each ingredient. Our tea masters also go to visit these tea plantations because they have long established direct relationships with the growers around the world. And they travel not only to develop and further their relationships, but also to ensure that there's fair treatment of the labor force and a healthy respect for the environment. It's very important to note that our teas are sourced and produced in accordance with the global standards of the Ethical Tea Partnership. This is a fair trade organization that specializes only in tea. And as you can see, our teas and our ingredients come from all over the world. Here's step 2, purchasing. We purchase only in peak season. Sometimes peak season for a tea or an herb might only be 2 weeks. We make sure that we are going to get that tea harvested at that peak. And we also want to make sure that those ingredients are shipped to us as soon after the harvest as possible so that they're going to arrive at our processing plant in the freshest state. Our tea masters ask for pre-shipment samples from all of our growers. They want to check them out for taste, aroma, color, and appearance, and then they'll give the okay, if everything's all right, to ship. And once the commercial shipments come in, samples are pulled and they're tested against that approved pre-shipment sample to make sure that they conform, to make sure that they're exactly the same. Here's step 3, which is testing, and boy, do we do a lot of testing. We have to test all of our ingredients to make sure that there are no contaminants that could compromise their safety. That would include pesticides, toxins, heavy metals. We don't want them in our ingredients. You don't want them in your body. We test our ingredients for identity to make sure that they're the right herb, their purity to make sure that there's nothing in there but the herb, and potency to make sure that it's the high grade that we specified. They're also tested for the presence of filth and foreign matter. We don't want those in our tea. We only want our tea leaves and our herbs in there. They're also tested to make sure that there's no mold, or harmful microbes that can hurt you. Step 4 is handling and processing. We use a state-of-the-art climate-controlled organic certified manufacturing facility, and production samples on the manufacturing floor are tested on the hour to make sure that they have consistent taste, aroma, and appearance. And our products are manufactured under the world's highest standards of food safety and quality. One of those standards is called GMP, or Good Manufacturing Practice. The other one is called HACCP, which is Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point. I just want to let you know a little bit about these steps that we go through. GMP is really about hygiene, about making sure that everyone is wearing the right clothes, they're washing their hands, they know how to use the equipment, how to clean the equipment. We want to make sure that if they have a cold or the flu or something, that they're not showing up at work where they can not only infect other workers, but maybe they may, you don't want them sneezing into your tea. We make sure that they know how to use our organic compliant cleaning supplies, and also if there were any allergens present, that we can control them and we can deal with them. HACCP is something that was designed for NASA to provide safe food for astronauts for space missions, and it's a 7-step program that identifies, monitors, controls, and corrects and eliminates any potential food safety hazard. Well, what are food safety hazards that can happen in tea? Well, mold, or what if somebody just found pea or rocks that somebody could break their teeth on, or or those kind of things. If there were wires from a bag of tea, you have to have a program in place that you can get rid of any of those potential hazards. And another thing is documentation and reportability. Our HACCP certified facility can actually trace a leaf in your cup back to the very field in which it was grown within 30 minutes. That's because of the extreme amount of documentation that we do. You'll also notice that Ladara Wellness Teas are loose leaf teas. They are not in tea bags. Why is that? It's because loose leaf teas are better. I mean, classic tea bags are certainly convenient, but they're inferior. The leaves don't have enough room to fully expand and be able to deliver their full flavor, aroma, and benefits. Another thing is that tea bags, a lot of times, are a way to get rid of some low-quality tea, this powder that's called dust, or these small broken pieces that are called fannings. You'll find them in tea bags, and they have a weak aroma, they have a harsh taste, they have a low content of the essential oils and the other compounds that are in our tea and herbs that give the wellness benefits. I mean, this is what a classic tea bag tea looks like. It looks familiar to a lot of people. If you ripped open a tea bag, that's what the tea would look like. But wouldn't you rather have something that looks beautiful like this? This is our beautiful tea. This is our immune tea. Just look at the vibrant colors. I can see the goji berries in there. I can see the blue cornflowers in there. Or here's our relaxed tea. It relaxes me just to look at it. I mean, you take a look at that and you take a look at tea bag tea, and to me, that's case closed. So here is the CWG quality promise. We will bring you only ultra-premium loose leaf wellness teas of verified authenticity and purity, using only the finest organic ingredients where possible, or those that conform to the strict purity standards of the European Food Safety Authority, the highest standard in the world. We will work only with growers who are committed to ethical, fair, and sustainable farming and business practices. And lastly, we will deliver masterful, wellness-grade formulations with consistently great taste, aroma, and benefits in every cup. That's Wellness Tea by Ladara.